Yeah, here we go, guys. Welcome. This is my mascot and one of my favorite marketing gurus, Dan Kennedy. I used to be a member of his newsletter, coaching program, etc., etc., etc. Big fan. He has influenced me more than anybody. So at one time, he sent me this bobblehead. He kind of does that sort of stuff, and it's a wise move. Anybody in business, anybody in any business, photography or whatever, it's nice to send out little tokens of appreciation, thank you cards, roses, bobbleheads of yourself on a bull. Anyways, I was just horsing around with that. It's Rob here from NoBs Photo Success with another bi-weekly episode. And it seems to be a little bit popular. Some of you guys are complaining that I don't get to the point fast enough. So I'm going to get right on it, guys, right on it. So I want to talk about a bunch of stuff. It's kind of random, kind of easygoing. Try and keep it under 20 minutes if I may. I printed out some images, a couple shoots this week. These are just low quality images. You see those three boys right there? Photographed them a few days ago. The mom is a local pharmacist, and she's married to a doctor. Years ago, I used to say that I was going to build a monument in honor of this woman. It turns out I got a lot of clients like her, and that's what you want. You want to have a client who is a raving, stark, mad lunatic as far as her loyalty is concerned, and she is a perfect example. She comes back twice a year, spends a fortune on us, and I've been photographing these boys since they were babies, and the one boy is now in grade 9. So, yeah, awesome. And, Sandy Putsch talked about this in my last webinar with her, and if you want to watch the replay of that, it is still in the blog under wizardoflight.com. Just go under webinar replays, and you'll see it. Absolutely amazing story, what she told us about past clients. So, yeah, I photographed these three boys. You can tell the youngest. See the youngest right there? He's being a goofball. Classic baby of the family syndrome, always the class clown. The oldest is typically the more serious one. Great kids and easy to shoot. It's almost like I've gotten to know them so well over the years. I'm like family to them. So I try, my biggest struggle is trying to come up with different ideas and different creative angles. So she always likes trees and nature, so you can tell by these shots, most of them I had photographed in trees. I had taken also a bunch of individuals. This is just a very small sampling of some of the images. And you can see this shot right here. I used reflectors. This pose, this pose, this pose. I used a big shoot-through halo light with Vagabond, powered up battery source, and a shoot-through umbrella. I'll show you the battery in a minute. Okay, so I just want to talk about now. This is the core basis for any business. Is that sort of foundation when you have clients, and hopefully many clients, not just a few. You want to build. If you're just starting out and you're struggling with clientele, I get this question a lot, so I'm going to talk about it right now. If you have no clients, now you know what your goal is. Get one. Get one. Once you get one, you get two. Once you get two, you get four. Once you get four, you get 8, and then onwards. It builds up from there. And upwards to about, if you can get up to 500 to 1,000, 5,000 on your database, that's awesome. Then you just feed off that. And that creates a lot of momentum. Unless you screw it up, don't screw it up. The name of the game is always make your clients happy and keep them coming back. Because if they don't come back, it's not good. So, anyways, just want to talk about that. That's the foundation. All those kids, too, Baby's First Year Wall Panel was a really big membership program with us, Creative Kids Club. By the way, I have a webinar coming up in a few weeks, hopefully with a co-presenter, Alicia Birch from Australia. We're going to be doing a webinar on creating memberships, and I'm going to talk in greater detail, in greater depth, on how not only they make some of the best offers that you can offer as a photographer in a portrait studio, but how you use these memberships to get your clients coming back and how you maximize sales. Easy. No real high pressure tactics required. It's absolutely amazing because it's a step-by-step process, and it's almost like a blueprint. And you have to be able to implement it. And you know, that's coming up. Just if you're in my email, get on the email list, and I'll let you guys know about that. Okay. Here's another shoot. I'm going to talk about this one. This was about a week ago. There's the back of the boat. We were taking a boat ride to their cottage. I think he's got a lovely family. I've been photographing them since they were little children. The last time I was out at their cottage was about 2003 or 4. It was really cool because he has a plane. He flies into work. He's an engineer. I think he owns his own engineering firm. The mom is spectacular. She's such a nice lady. Anyway, she's hired us before. That girl standing up right there. See? She's the youngest of the 2 girls. I think she's in grade 12 now. And she had come in for a fairy portrait. I had also photographed his family about 6 years ago, and multiple times on 2 occasions where they had the extended family, grandma, grandpa, etc., etc. For both of them, actually, her family and his family, plus this immediate family, and then the fairy portraits. You can see where this is building up, where you are well placed in your community and with your clientele, where they come back to you for multiple reasons, not just a one-off situation. Now, if you're selling, like you see a lot of these sessions these days, where people are selling shoot and burn sessions, which is not a business model. You know, I've written about this. It's just not a business model. So if you're shooting and offering all the images, digital files, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're shooting yourself in a bank account. That's not a business model. You will not create long-term business success if you're doing that sort of thing. Okay. Anyways, because people like this really value and want to pay. They want to pay. I believe the reason why a lot of photographers don't know any better is because they're scared. They're chicken shits inside, and they don't want to sell. They don't want to make a stance and say, this is what I'm worth. I'm offering something legitimate. And so they default to marketing based on price and giving everything away. It makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense. By the way, just as an aside, so I can rant on a little bit, one of my least favorite eating experiences and dining out experiences, absolutely least, is buffets. All you can eat. Ugh, I can't stand them. I know they're popular. A lot of people like them. But you kind of go in there and look around and look at all the people and go, oh, okay. All right. Before I get in trouble and somebody throws darts at me, I'll carry on. Jeff Lubin is a photographer who I've interviewed 7 or 8 months ago, depending when you're watching this. But if you go on to wizardoflight.com, look into webinar replays, I've kept on there because I thought it was so good, so valuable. By the way, if you really wonder about interviews, I used to do them on the phone, a little suction cup microphone, put it on the phone, and I'd run it through to a cassette player. You remember cassette players? Hit the 2 buttons. This is going back to 2001. Cassettes are obsolete now, obviously. But I did years and years and years of interviews, and I segued that into doing now webinars instead of doing on phone interviews. And the reason is somebody was breaking my balls about that, saying, why are you doing these interviews? I mean, it makes no sense. Well, it does make a lot of sense because there's a lot of powerful ideas and a lot of strategies that we can learn from others. If you get inspired, if you open up your heart and soul, and if you are passionate, if you are ambitious, and you want to grow your successful photography business to new heights, and by the way, you want to grow as a person too, because literally your business is projecting like this huge ass IMAX theater out to the world. This is who I am. This is who I am. Everybody can see it. Okay? This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for those who are shy. I'm shy. I'm faint of heart. I'm weak. But my drive, my desire, my passions were bigger than those. So I became confident. I became more courageous. I still struggle with fears and a lot of issues come up for me. You know, we all do. We're all that's the beautiful thing about being in business for yourself. You're constantly being challenged. That's what I love about it. And it's not for somebody who really likes to just have a steady week by week paycheck. So, and everything's predictable. So I think I got a little bit off track on that one, but I think you get the point. So go check out that Jeff Lubin replay. But the main point I want to talk about, Jeff, is that there's a Facebook page that I belong to with that Jeff sort of moderates, and he's always posting questions. And one question he just posted was, do mall displays still work? Well, I kind of think it's a little bit of a silly question myself. Of course they work. Anywhere where you can get your message in front of qualified people, absolutely. I replied to that particular question, as did a lot of other people, that back in the mid to 90s, that was before I tapped into Dan Kennedy, by the way, and I really got smart with my marketing. But before that, I went to big media. I went to TeeVee. I signed up for 1 year of TeeVee ad, a contract, TeeVee ads for 1 year, and I picked the small package. It was on average about $700 or $800 a month, and it was really good. My name really got out there in the community. But if I had a choice nowadays, I would choose something like a mall display. I just remembered what Jeff's question was. It wasn't, do mall displays do work? It was, how much would you pay for a mall display? That's correct. That's what it was. Sort of the same idea. So that was my reply, nevertheless, that I had done TeeVee ads for 1 year on the contract, spent a lot of money, but if I had a choice, I would have preferred to have spent that money in a mall. I eventually, a couple of years later, did do a mall display. I did a 3-week one, and I did this several years in a row. Absolutely one of the best things you can do. It was expensive. It was $1,200 a week for 3 weeks. And I ran this display leading up to Christmas time. I sold gift certificates, and I actually made a lot of money. All my money I made back, plus like $4,000 or $5,000 more. It was amazing. You have to really watch out for a few things, and this was part of my reply to Jeff's question. It depends on sort of your brand, your market. If you got really shitty work, and you're doing this kind of marketing, which is pretty aggressive and effective marketing, assuming you're in the right area, assuming you're in the right mall. By the way, the mall I was in was an epically good, and still is an epically good mall. But this won't work, and there are variables such as if you're in a really depressed area, or if you're in a mall that's just run over by, whatever, just not your demographics. You're not going to get the results that you're looking for. So you got to consider all these things and put them into effect when choosing what you're going to do with a mall display. But they do work, and yeah, I would spend big money on a mall display. Absolutely, I have. And if I were starting out again and still, young and ambitious and full of piss and vinegar, I would be in there doing malls all the time. All right, I'm almost done here. I'm going to talk a little bit about equipment. Let me show you something. Then we'll talk a little bit about coaching. All right, this is Pulsey Duff Vagabond. I use this all the time, and it's what I used on these. I drag my wife along, and she holds the stand with this big shoot-through umbrella with a black back so the light doesn't spill to the front of the lens. And this is on the actual stand, and it powers. This sucker lasts a long time. Very important, you never use a modeling light when you're using a Vagabond. It'll kill the battery. And so I just used, an Alien B 800. I usually don't have to turn it on full blast. So that's the type of lighting situation I use. And I forget, I was talking with my daughter or somebody like that, because she helps me out too. And we were talking about all this equipment and how it sort of stands out from, and it's true. That's kind of a bonus. When you're doing a shoot, people look at this and they go, "Whoa, this is like movie time. This is like Hollywood." And I also bring 2 UJAS reflectors, and it sort of intimidates people. It's sort of important too when you're at a wedding. I usually just open up too big reflectors, and it keeps people away from me. They kind of look at it and go, oh, okay, this is the professional. And if they do happen to come up and want to shoot over my shoulder, I let them. I just like, yeah, sure, you go first. I look at them and I go, well, go ahead. You can take your pictures. I'll just wait till you're done. Puts them on the spot. So, but generally speaking, it doesn't even get to that point because most of the time they see the equipment and they're intimidated by it. So it's got an intimidation factor. Anyways, that's sort of a bonus, and I just wanted to show you that's how I light. You need to bring an assistant with you because if there's a bit of wind, those big lights, they will act like a sail. All right, so I want to talk about coaching. You know what? Let me just talk a little bit about lighting. It just came to my mind because I was having a ride yesterday, a mountain bike ride with a buddy of mine who's a photographer, and he's sort of still trying to figure out the lighting thing. Let me just give you the lowdown. I was thinking about it, and here's how lighting works. If you're an old pro and you know all this stuff, good. But it's always cool to kind of go over it again. If you're doing, and this is off-camera flash. That's how I shot these. This technically is off-camera flash. I use the pocket wizards to fire the flash. The flash is over there somewhere, right or left. My wife holding it. Wind, big light, vagabond, boosh, lots of light going at the subject. If you're out there and your exposure is 5.6 at 1/125th and the output light is one stop less, then the output is acting like a fill. You got it? So it's 5.6, 1/125th is the exposure. If the flash you're using is f4, that's just a fill. Okay? It's just adding a nice fill. If you bring that flash up a stop, then it's kind of you're balanced out, kind of boring. It's still, it's becoming like a main light now. What you want to do, and this is typically what I do when I can, is bring my flash one stop over the ambient. So if I'm 1/125th at 5.6, that's the light, I will try and get that flash to f8. And then I'll take the exposure at f8 at 1/125th. So all the ambient light is darkened by about a stop. None of this is etched in stone. It's up to you. You decide. I'm just sort of giving you that as a rule of thumb. Okay, so you got fill light one stop under, or the same light which is averaged out. But by the way, I do the averaged out lighting. If it's, let's say it's f8 at 1/125th, I'll use f8 on my flash just to balance it out. It's very flat. If I have a large group and I don't want to get fancy with the light, flat lighting is what's going to work best. A lot of this is determined by your style, but what it is that you want to achieve in the end. And there's no hard, fast rules. There's so many variables when it comes to lighting, but you got to understand these basic concepts. So I wanted to share them with you. Coaching. If you like coaching, talked about Dan Kennedy, right? I spent a fortune with that guy. I've spent a fortune on executive coaching. I've gone to monthly coaching meetings where I've had to drive 4 hours there and back once a month and spend $200 to be there and make a almost 2-year commitment. The executive coaching was a 6-week program, costed me $3,500. I signed up with Dan Kennedy's. Gold coaching was $250 a month for about a year. And those are the ones that come to my mind. I've bought the Tony Robbins 30-day personal power. Rah, rah, rah. I bought that back in the late 80s. All of these things have made all the difference in the world to me. So I really, really believe in coaching. Doesn't matter at what level you want to take on coaching. Whether or not you join a forum like NoBs Photo Success and share with the community and have access to all the information there. Or if all you want to do is just go to YouTube and download a bunch of videos of interviews, there's a ton of stuff out there. It's all out there. It's to the point now where it doesn't really matter. The one variable that does matter is your ambition, your drive, your willingness to put things into action. Okay? It doesn't matter how much information you have. It's what you do with it that counts. So when I drive, I go to... I'm a member of a couple of coaching programs right now. They're not photography. For photography, I do a lot of my own webinars, obviously, with wizardoflight.com and with NoBs Photo Success. So I'm getting as a bonus a lot of information. For example, Vanessa Joy, an amazing wedding photographer. She is lined up for October. Go to wizardoflight.com and you'll see it right there on the main page. Vanessa Joy, sign up for that if you want to really ramp up your wedding photography. And if you want to... there was more I had to say about that. It escapes my mind. If you want to... Here, let me give you some ideas. This is what I do. When I drive to Toronto once a month to meet with these marketing guys. It's one of the groups I belong to, and I pay $100 a month to belong to this group. And whenever I drive or travel anywhere, I always download stuff. As I'm driving down there, I'm listening to interviews. I'll go get like Seth Godin stuff or James Altucher. I think I talked about him before. James Altucher, amazing. Tim Ferriss, Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Work Week. A lot of free stuff on there. I'll download this stuff plus the memberships that I belong to. And it's important to constantly be feeding your mind over and over again to stay on top of things, because that's part of being self-employed. You have to be innovative. So I'm going to finish off at this one thought. See that? Check it out. I bought this when I was 24 years old, way back in the day, and I still have this with me. Having a talent isn't worth much unless you know what to do it. And the reason that's relevant right now, and it's in reference to what I was just talking about, that all the information is out there. Well, there's information, there's talent, a lot of that, all that stuff, it's there. I don't care how talented you are, how skilled you are. I don't care how much information there is out there. It doesn't matter. It's what you do with it that counts. Okay? That's the only thing that matters. Oh, one more thing. Brian DeMint. If you go to NoBs Photo Success, sign up for the newsletter, you'll get a notification very, very soon. If you're a member, you'll see it's in the sidebar. You'll see that I have a new series coming up with him. The first one's going to be open to everybody. The recording's going to be available to members. Brian DeMint is an amazing photographer. He's funny as hell. He's creative. He's got a very heavy artistic background. He's so creative with his photography. The stuff he does is just out of this world. And the series that we got coming up is called Creative Cross Training. And it's going to be good. So join us for that. Yeah, I'm part of the journey, learning and growing and tapping into other photographers. So anyways, that's all I got to say, guys. So hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, throw them in there in the comment section, and we will talk to you next time. Okay, take care. I'm out of here. Bye for now.